Jay, the day after last season ended, you talked about how you were going to take a long, hard look at everything, about how you guys train, how you approach practice, and you went out and hired Mike Clark and the martial arts guy, and I've seen Randy Jordan doing stuff with Master Joe Kim, and some stuff with like resistance training with bands and stuff. Is that what you were talking about, and do you feel like you're starting to see some of the results you were seeking?
I am. I was just making mention of that today. Just looking at a lot of the players, they just, look like they're physically in better condition, and that's half the battle. You want to try to, at this time of the year, you want to try to make sure you strengthen their bodies, obviously give them the best shape possible, and obviously strengthen their minds in the meeting rooms, and then start to slowly implement your system and how you want to go about your business on the field, the habits that you want to start to create. And we feel like great practice habits in the weight room, they'll lead to great things, and that's what we're all about.
There are rumors that this is the end of the spring, whether it's Memorial Day or not. What do you think is the best thing that you go into training camp? What do you feel best about going into camp, and what are you most concerned about going into camp?
I think I feel best about what I just mentioned. I feel like this progress that they've made in the weight room. I feel like structurally, I feel like their bodies are in better shape than they've been since I've been here. You can see the young guys starting to develop their bodies. Trent Murphy I made mention of, but you can see veteran guys like Jason Hatcher, who's lost some fat and gained some more lean mass to him. So I think as a whole, I think the group is in better shape, which is exciting to me because obviously that's very, very important. But also the progress they've made with Coach Berry's system on defense, and then offensively doing the same things over and over again for a second year. And you can see the confidence that they have in what they're doing, and it's paying off.
What concerns you the most, though, as you go into camp?
Well, I think just maybe Trent Williams' injury and maybe Jordan Reed, but really I think we did the right thing by making sure they're held out and make sure they're come back full speed next year. But really, this time of year, I don't have any concerns or anything negative to say about anything. I feel very good about where we are, the way we practice. The attendance rate here was excellent. The tempo was outstanding, and I feel like we made major strides already.
Jay, you mentioned even midway through last season your desire to have a quarterbacks coach, and you would address that by bringing Kavanaugh in here. Through this offseason period now, have you seen tangible results with the quarterbacks from the things that Kavanaugh has taught them?
Yes. I think just from having a voice there that's a consistent voice there, a constant one, a guy who's been there and done that, a guy with a great deal of experience helping him along the way. He still hears from myself and Sean quite a bit, but to have somebody, an individual, really strictly work with him on his fundamentals. Sometimes as a coordinator, as a head coach, I'm watching the defensive backs or the linebackers or the line play, and Sean's watching the total picture, and now we have a set of eyes strictly on the quarterback, and I think that's important. Every snap, every handoff, every drop back is being critiqued, and making sure we do it the right way, and I think it's been a big benefit for Robert.
And somewhat related to that, too, you brought in Bill Callahan as well. His resume speaks for itself in a way, but why do you think he was a good guy to help this offensive line crew you guys have out here?
Well, I think, number one, is the way he holds people accountable, number one. He demands a lot from those guys, both on the field and off the field. And these guys come in, they meet a lot, they practice hard. You can see them pre-practice. Their routine is pretty strenuous, So I just think the work that is involved with being a player for Coach Callahan is a demanding thing. But I think at the end of the day, he's going to get the best results out of you because he's going to demand the most of you. So I think it's a great thing to have him around, and it's great for young players to develop with them, and even veteran players to learn a new system, a new way about doing things is a huge benefit for our guys.
Another one on Callahan. Obviously, he brings experience as a head coach, a defensive coordinator as well. Do you envision him having a role in, if not play calling, kind of consulting on play calling, or is that getting ahead of things?
Well, no, not at all. He's, like you said, he's called plays. He's called the running game where he's been in the past, and he will have a major influence in the running game, the play calls that we do call. And a lot of times as a play caller, I'm looking on to the next play, and I'm calling a play, but I'm on to the next play, and I might ask for, hey, what's your best run here? And Coach Callahan will be the guy that will devise the running game pretty much game plan-wise, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's calling the majority of the runs on game day.
Great. And then regarding your backup quarterbacks, the decision that you're going to make at some point between 2 and 3, which is where, how deep into training camp do you envision going before that's clear to you, before you need or want to make a decision?
Very deep. We have those 4 preseason games, and that's really going to tell the tale. We have a great training camp. We'll get a lot of reps in training camp. Then Houston comes. We'll get a great look at them. And then obviously the 4 preseason games, we'll get a look at all 3 in a great, very close fashion. And the second and third quarterback will be decided then.
You said one of the concerns will be Trent Williams. Are you confident that he'll be 100% before training
Yeah, I'm
camp?
confident. I just wish he would have got the work, with Coach Callahan. It's a little bit different, but a lot of the same stuff. But Trent's a very smart guy, and he's been attentive in all the meetings. I just wish he would have got the reps. That's all. But it's not really a concern. I was trying to think of a concern. If that's my only concern going in, it's very minor. So that's good.
And then, kind of in what Tarek was talking about, some of the changes made, and culture change has been a big topic this offseason too. Does that go along with it? And have you seen a different sort of attitude among the players, whether it's because of guys you brought in or some of the changes that you have made?
Well, I think it started last year with some of the guys we brought in also, and the veterans that we kept, and then you bring in the new guys, and you're just trying to establish that culture and that fundamental way about doing your business. The accountability factor that we have here, I think, has been outstanding so far. So it's exciting to see. We just got to hopefully that carries on to the field and gives us positive results. But I've always said if you prepare the right way, if you do things the right way on and off the field, then good things will happen eventually. We just got to have faith and believe in one another, and they will happen. We will turn the corner.
Yeah, Matt Jones, it looks like he's been taking a lot of snaps of the ones. I know we shouldn't read much of anything into that, but I would think it means you're pretty happy with what he's been. What have you seen out of him that he can earn those snaps?
Well, we drafted him for a reason. He's a big physical back, and he will take some pressure off Alfred a little bit. But, in practice, when Alfred breaks one, a long one, usually we put another back in there right away. So I wouldn't read anything into that. Alfred has had as good a camp as anybody in this building, and I've been very, very impressed with Alfred, as I always am. He comes to work. He's always on time. He's always working hard, and at practice he's always finishing runs and doing a great job in pass protection. So it's going to be hard to take any reps from him. But when he does get tired or fatigued or what have you, we won't hesitate at all to put Matt in there. He's done a good job. There's still some things he has to clean up, and then once we get the pads on and the live action, we'll see how he does with his pad level and all that good stuff. But he's done an excellent job of picking up the system.
You said at one of the earlier OTAs that Jones was going a little rough, putting his shoulder down. Have you managed to pull that back a little bit without slowing him down too much?
Well, it's a fine line because you never want your back to run straight up and down, you know what I mean, because they'll get slaughtered. But when he runs with his pads down, he's banging into everybody, and it's against the CBA rules. There's no contact. So today he ran up there straight up, and Hayward butted him up, so get your pads down. What? So it's confusing. But I think once we get the pads on, he gets popped a few times. If he's running too high, he'll realize to get his pads down. But he's a big, strong individual. Even when he does run vertically, he has the strength and power to run through tackles, which is interesting. But he's been very impressive to us. His running style is unique. It's a physical style, but he does have good change of direction. He's shown that out in space and in good hands.
Jay, I guess this is a big picture question, but it seems like your staff comes up with a new way to kind of teach fundamentals, especially in the individual units almost every day that we're out here. Is that a big part of getting through to younger guys now, changing things up, being creative in the ways that you want to teach something, I guess, as boring as fundamentals?
Yeah, fundamentals are very important. We have come up with some unique ways to teach tackling and fundamental tackling and how to strip the ball and all those good things that are very, very important. So the last thing I want our players to do is walk out to practice and go, here we go again, the same stuff, different day. You know what I mean? So we got to change it up and challenge them mentally, keep them involved. And I think the coach has done a great job of that, changing up the way we approach different drills and different fundamentals. And it's been fun, and I think it's paid dividends so far just watching them.
And another question on Callahan and kind of he's made guys run a lap around the field. Ari today after a false start. What kind of message does that send to guys? And do you think that hits home, or do you think that's just to kind of serve a purpose of some sort?
I don't know. I think the big thing is like I said yesterday, it's all about when you have third down and 3 and you jump off sides, the difference in the third down and 3 making and conversion rate and third down and 8 are pretty significant in the NFL. So it's important for us to really hone in mentally when we break the huddle and listen to the snap count. If you do false start, you need to understand that you are really hurting the football team. So that's just a way right now to let the guys know that it's not acceptable to jump off sides or have a false start. So, we'll probably tone it down when it gets hot in Richmond, but I think the guys got the message.
We're talking about intangible things that you want to impart into your team, the toughness, the accountability, all that. You know football, you're kind of brought up in football, you know all the drills, but where do you go for learning how to impart those things, and what do you lean on when you're trying to do more cultural change?
Well, you lean on veteran leadership. That's the big thing, is if you have guys in the building that don't believe in what you're doing and they don't act upon what you're saying, then it's going to be hard to get the young guys to follow suit. So very important for veterans to teach the rookies. Like I said, the veteran leadership that we have here, the Hatchers, the Golstons, the Kerrigans, Alfred Morris, these guys are outstanding role models for the younger people. And when I say something and we go out and do it at practice, and the leaders, the veteran guys are the first ones to do it, the rookies fall in and they do it. So I think right now we've sent a great message to the young guys. I feel good about where we're going, where we're headed. Got a long way to go, obviously, but we're on the right track. I promise you that.
Were there times in your playing career where it was a similar thing? I mean, obviously as the quarterback, you set the tone, where you kind of had to make those kind of broad things and bring everybody along into the culture?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, I don't know, as a quarterback, you want to be a strong leader, obviously, and we have some in-house, but, it's very important sometimes that a lot of people think you have to lead by being a vocal guy, but if you lead by example of working the hardest in here, being the first one in the meeting, answering questions, staying off your cell phone in meetings, coming out to practice, being punctual, doing a little bit extra after practice, that thing rubs off on everybody. And, I think we have a lot of guys doing that, which is excellent.
Jay, a lot of guys have said that you guys have been paying a lot of attention to them as far as this offseason, as far as their conditioning and their practice habits, how hard they're practicing. How much of that is going to play into the heat that's going to come up when they get to training camp, considering they're going to be practicing later in the day now?
Yeah, very much, and we'll keep a close eye on that. Coach Clark, myself, every position coach, we're going to keep a close eye on their stamina. We're not going to try to run anybody into the ground, but we are going to try to demand a lot of them because it is going to be hot. We play the Miami Dolphins week 1 here, and they're no huddle, and we better get ourselves ready to go quickly because you get 16 cracks at the season, and the last thing you want to do is be tired and use that as an excuse. I once heard that fatigue makes cowards of us all, and we're not going to ever use that as an excuse or let that be a problem. We can control fatigue, and we're going to work our darndest to make sure that's not going to be a reason for a loss. So everything else, hopefully will fall into place, but we'll definitely be in shape.
Coach, after 3 batches of the OTAs and these 2 days of minicamp, have any of the later round draft picks caught your eye more than you thought they would or surprised you? Martrell Spade, Jarrett, those guys?
Yes, actually, Jarrett really has. Kaishan's done an excellent job, man. He's fast, he's flying around, he's making his presence known on special teams. And I mentioned that the late round picks is going to have to make their mark on special teams, and Kaishan's done that. Even Spate has too, but Tevin Mitchell, I think, at the nickel and playing corner, has really done some good things also. He got an interception today you saw in the red zone, which was excellent. So he's doing some good things, and he's learning a new system. He's playing 2 or 3 different positions, so he's been very impressive. But I've been impressed. It's hard to just say him, and I don't want to sound overly positive on everybody, but really, I don't have anything negative to say about anybody. Their work, I think their level of improvement from day to day has been outstanding. The young offensive linemen, all 3 of them, the rookies that we brought in, even the free agents have done an excellent job. So it's been an impressive time, and I'm very proud of the guys, the way they came in and worked in a voluntary session and then the mandatory session. They all came to work and get better, and I think it'll pay off.
Remember when you brought Rob Akey on in January, you were talking about him throwing chairs and trash cans during his interview. But what has he brought to the team since then and, on the field, in the meeting room? It seems like he's getting well received by the guys.
Yeah, he has. I think, that's a strong room. It really is. With Terrence Knight and Jason Hatcher and Chris Baker. And, those guys are excellent players. Steven, those guys are all pros, and they want to work and they want to get better. And Coach Akey's excellent at delivering the right kind of message on a daily basis, changing it up, and getting the most out of them. And they have a lot of respect for him already, and you can see they pay attention. And that's kind of been everybody, every room so far. DBs with Coach Fuel, linebackers, all of them have done an excellent job of taking what they're learning in the classroom and then transition it to the field and staying active and competitive.
Where's Ryan Grant in his progress last year? Obviously, he was a rookie learning things this year. He's not the youngest guy on the group anymore. Just what are you seeing out of him?
Oh, Ryan Grant he's awesome, man. He really is. He's runs every route exactly like you tell him to run it. He doesn't make any mental mistakes. He's got big, strong hands. And it's just right now with Pierre, Deshaun, Andre, and we draft Crowder, it's a crowded room right now with a lot of skill. But I won't hesitate one bit whether he's our starting Z, starting X, starting inside player, what have you. I think as a wide receiver, he's very polished, and he's just waiting his turn. He is ready to go, though, I promise you that. But, I love Ryan Grant and what he is and what he's about.
What kind of talks do you have with him, and what does his demeanor seem like? Obviously, like you said, there's guys ahead of him, and he knows he's got to wait his turn. And how does he seem to be responding?
He's been great. Works hard. He's trying to prove that he deserves some reps, and every time he gets a rep, he takes advantage of it. And that's the one thing we're trying to get across to these guys. You may get 10 reps a day in practice. Make sure you take advantage of those reps. And Ryan's one of those guys that takes advantage of every rep he gets, even the reps that he doesn't get the ball thrown to him. You can see him working his hardest, coming in and out of breaks and getting open and fighting to get off bump and run or what have you. So. Very, very, very impressed with Ryan and done an excellent job, but he has taken advantage of his reps so far.
Coach, when you look at your backup quarterbacks, is there one thing that you put your finger on and say that's a difference when it comes to Colt or Kirk between last year and this year? Is there maybe one thing that you see that you kind of jumps out at you?
No, I think all three of them really have done some good things as far as just general knowledge of where to put your eyes and your fundamentals as far as your drops and all that and your progressions go, man. I think they're all just getting a better understanding of the scheme, and when we call a play, what to expect on that play versus this coverage versus blitz versus cover one versus cover three, what have you. I think all three of them are starting to just gain momentum in that regard, and it's been impressive to watch. You see Colt McCoy do some great things today. Kirk did some good things yesterday, and both of them are making their case known. Both of them, like I said before, have had a taste of a starting quarterback job in the NFL, and they both want it back real bad. And they're doing an excellent job of competing every day, and it's killing them on the inside. I know it, that they're competing for the backup job right now, but they are doing an excellent job, and you can see them all progressing at a good rate.
You look forward to, obviously, training camp in the next month. There's going to be a lot of cameras there. There's going to be a lot of national attention there. When you sit down with your coaching staff, how much do you guys talk about, we don't want to be that dramatic-filled franchise. We want to be a team that goes to work and gets the job done. I mean, how much is that a part of the discussion?
Well, it's important. We want to make it about us, the Washington Redskins football team. We're not trying to make this about one guy, one situation, one event. We want to try to make this about our team getting stronger together and making this franchise a competitive one that's well respected for a long time. That's what we're all about. And I think guys are on the right track of doing that. We're not going to worry about the cameras or the media or what's written and all that good stuff, man. We're just going to try to stay in our little room, our little bubble, and do the things right way and compete, get better, and go from there.
Coach, 6 weeks till you head to Richmond. What jumped out at you about the city and the fans and the experience of that last year that makes you looking forward to going back?
Well, this is my first year as a head coach in the NFL, and going to Richmond was a pretty exciting time for me and this team. It's a great situation. We have everything we need there to succeed. It's good to be at home, but it's also good to get away with your team. You got a good fan base there that are coming watching, even into walkthroughs. Fans are coming out watching walkthroughs. So it's exciting. I think it makes practice a little bit more exciting for guys. They're competing their butts off to win a job and a starting job or just win a job on the football team. But when you have people watching, it puts the added pressure on them, which is good. It's good to see how they react to pressure situations with people watching. So it was a great experience all the way around. The facility was excellent. It was clean. Fields were in great shape. Obviously, the hotel was excellent. And we're glad to be going back.
And then Justin Rogers, what have you noticed and seen from him so far during his time here?
Justin Rogers has been a technically sound guy. You know what I mean? He's not a guy that's going to jump out at you, but over the course of the film, when you continue to watch it, he doesn't have any mental mishaps, and he's where he's supposed to be and does the right thing. I think once we get the pads on and how he does on special teams will really determine his fate. And he's another guy that's taking advantage of his opportunities. But, some of these guys that are second or third group rep guys, they really need to stand out on special teams, number one. And then when they do get their opportunity on the field, take advantage of them. Justin's done a good job of that.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good vacation.
Actually, the 6th, I'm not live. That's why I was like, I thought it was. So we have to put together 2 little things. So
And they also want to expand. So you get a lot of
how long do you think it takes to do all this? I know that's going to take.
Do you want me to bring it up?